And I am out of there. Goodbye, Puerto Penasco. See you in 2 years, if all goes well. Leaving was not without incident. First, the saltwater injection elbow into the exhaust was clogged up, so the engine wasn't cooling. Then the throttle cable broke, all while in the slings sitting in the water with boats waiting to get in behind me. So I am doing the old Casey Jones, running down to the engine to do the throttle, and I got the I took off the exhaust elbow and poked it with a screwdriver and got water flowing through the engine again, and then the alternator wasn't charging, but I think I got that sorted out. So anyway, it's never a dull moment here on Sail V, but we are sailing upwind. Unfortunately, we want to go that way, but it's fine. It is what it is. Everything's good. I'm having a beer, and I'm going to try relaxing now for the first time in 2 weeks. We'll see how it goes, and I don't know if I'll be able to post this. If I am, it'll be the last time you hear from me for a while. So adios, hasta luego, and see you later. Bye. Looks like the dolphins are headed this way. First afternoon, it's about 4 o'clock. Those are dolphins, and they're headed this way. We'll see what happens. Stand by. Whoa. There, that's better. Well, it was a school of dolphins, but they weren't headed my way. They were just in a feeding frenzy, and we seem to be going the same way. You can't see them probably, but they're way up there. The birds are overhead, so it's a great sail. I'm on a beam reach here, which means there's a little tailwind if we were standing still. I got 2 fishing lines out. No nibbles yet that I know of. It's a beautiful day on the Sea of Cortez. It's about 4:20. I'm supposed to be at the top of the north end of Guardian Angel Island. Tomorrow around, it depends minute by minute, but sometime around midday, if this wind holds. Well, this wind is not going to hold. It's going to go light during the night, and then it will be windy by 4 a.m., or at least this windy by 4 a.m., they say. I've been downloading Gribs on my phone and on my laptop. It's great. I'm doing it with a Iridium Go, or a satellite communicator. I got the antenna taped onto the top of that pole right there, that white thing. It weighs like less than a pound, so I just taped it on because I don't like the bracket it came with, and I think I have the bracket I want to use at the house in La Paz. So, yeah, if it wasn't my first day, or if I wasn't had a kind of a stressful departure, I might be flying a kite right now. I could get away with it. It's a beam reach. We could do it, but it would be edgy. So I think I'll just keep taking it easy until I feel like not taking it easy. The boat's pretty good. Autopilot's driving. I had the wind vane going a little while. I think the lines are kind of crusty. Those lines really need to be replaced. They're original from 2000, from 99 actually. So might need to replace those lines. I don't like to go through the pulleys too much. I noticed tying them in the knots there. That's the line right there. And I tied those knots today, and those lines are kind of stiff. Anyway, see you, bye. It's a couple minutes later, and I forgot I might as well fill you in, or make my video log of this trip so that I can remember it. Whether you guys ever see it or not, we'll see. But so they put me in the travel lift, and they lift me up, and I paint the 2 spots in the bottom of the keel, and they move me over, and they put me in the water, and I start the engine, and I go to give it a little throttle. That's the broken handles, the throttle right there, and the doorknob has been missing for years. Don't worry about that. But you push the little one forward, that's more gas. The big one with the glass doorknob is the shifter. Backwards is reverse, forward is forward. I give it a little throttle, that thing does not move. So it's called a Morse cable. It's a rigid cable inside of I guess it's actually a rigid rod, square rod, I think, inside of a red jacket, like a continuous tight spring with a red plastic exterior. And they're made for marine use, and they're controls. They're push-pull controls, so you can push it and you can pull it. And in that case, it does the throttle, and the shifter has the same thing, and the kill knob has the same thing. It's a diesel engine, so you shut off the fuel to shut it off. Anyway, could not budge it. Get out into the engine, it doesn't budge there. Come up to the cockpit, tried it again. I sprayed lubricant on the engine on it because I don't know what part is frozen. If it's the engine, which I'm hoping not, the lever on the engine, which I believe is the fuel injector pump, that would not be good. It'd be better if it was just the cable that was frozen, or the mechanism on the back side of that wall there that those handles are mounted to. And that would be better because those are a bit cheaper to repair, and you can even get by without it temporarily. And then Joanne, I'm the only one on the boat. They want to get me out of the travel lift because they have other boats waiting to get out. Joanne and 3 guys are on the dock holding the 4 dock lines, holding me in place because, the straps are a little bit loose. And Joanne says, she's over here, she says, there's not much water coming out of the back. There's like no water coming out of the back, which is bad because the engine it has a heat exchanger. It uses seawater circulating through a heat exchanger to cool fresh water. So the engine is freshwater cooled, but the freshwater is cooled with seawater. And the seawater gets injected into the exhaust at the engine and goes through the muffler and out the rubber hose exhaust system. So you need water to cool the engine, and you also need water to protect the fiberglass muffler that I made and the rubber hoses that make up the exhaust system. Otherwise, you just have hot exhaust, and that ain't gonna work very long. So I start working on that. And I start at the beginning. I just put in a whole new raw water intake system. So I start taking hoses off of there and see it's flowing. Okay, it's flowing there. It's flowing through the strainer up to it's flowing to the raw water pump on the engine. I take off the other end of the hose at the other end of the out of the raw water pump. I take that off where it goes into the heat exchanger. Start the engine. Yeah, it's pumping lots of water out there, so it would be pumping lots of water into the heat exchanger. So I take off the hose out of the heat exchanger. Yeah, it's pumping water out of there. I take off the hose that goes into, and this is the most common problem, but I started at the beginning and worked my way. But I thought from the very get-go this would be the problem. There's a little elbow that a hose attaches to, and the little elbow shoots seawater into the exhaust elbow riser out of the back of the engine. That's where the seawater and the exhaust gas mix. It's a cast iron 90 degree or 80 degree bend. It's a casting, but it's a pipe. And in the pipe, it is split in half with the inner wall, which separates the seawater and the exhaust gases until they get down over the top of this thing. It's an upside down U shaped. And that's where the gases and the saltwater get mixed. And they go on out through the muffler and out the exhaust and out the back of the boat. That little elbow is clogged up. It happens a lot. So I took it off and poked it with a screwdriver and blew through it, put it back on, fired up the engine, and voila, lots of water coming out the back. And Salvador Sr., who was great when he saw that I was having problems with the throttle, and I'm sweating like a pig, and I'm jumping up and down from the cockpit to down below, and I'm hammering, and and people are standing around waiting, and he goes, Felipe, relax, we're gonna go do something else, take your time, relax, get your problem solved. Okay, great, Salvador, thank you very much, what a guy. And so he comes back, I get the saltwater thing working, and the boat's back together, engine's running, it's pumping lots of water out the back. I got the throttle cable. I took out, this thing is full of, this lazarette's full of lines and fenders. I emptied it all out so I can get in there. You can get like 3 guys in there. I get in there, and that is like, the back of that mechanism is the hardest thing to get to on the boat because it's really hard to get to. And I'm trying to spray lubricant on it. Well, I'm spraying lubricant on it, but I really can't see what I'm doing. And I come back up and I give that lever a big old push and it goes snap! And freaking some lever or something on the back of that thing busted. It's like, okay, fine. I will just have to, put it at idle, or, a little hair above idle, and get out of this slipway and get out of the harbor, and then I can get down below and throttle it up and motor along. It's only an issue coming in and out of a slip, really. So that's where I'm at, and it gives me an opportunity to change that whole system, because I used to have a big steering wheel back here, and having the throttle and the shifter back there was good for that. But now that I'm tiller and I steer with the tiller right here, the throttle and shifter should be somewhere else. I haven't decided where. I'm kind of thinking like inside here, like my autopilot and other stuff is. But I'll come up with something cool. You'll see. So, yeah. Then I got out of there. I don't even think I kissed or hugged Joanne goodbye because it was kind of a rush. I don't know. I hope I did, but I don't know. And then it was waves of goodbye, and now I'm alone. But I'm relaxing for the first time in weeks, so that's good. And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be out of the dirty yard. I already hosed down the cockpit. I just washed the boat 2 days ago. I washed it really good. And that place is so dusty. It just gets covered in dust. Oh, and Walt Brown. You might recognize this. Walter Brown, my old friend. You might recognize this thing. I got your line out and your lure out. So we'll see. Not the first time I've had it out, but wish me luck there. I didn't buy any meat, and I only bought enough ice for about 18 hours to chill my beer. And so, I did buy a bunch of dried meat in pouches. Interesting. We'll see how that is. But I didn't buy anything that I had to keep cold. It just went back and forth on it. And today in the store, they didn't really have any frozen steaks or anything that really, made me happy. So I didn't buy any, and that saved me from buying big block ice and saved a couple $100 on the boat of ice. So hopefully one day I'll get a fridge and freezer on board. We'll see. This was just the beginning of the upgrades. There's more to come. I have a lot of work to do in the Paz boat this winter. So wish me luck on that. And I hope you're all having a good one. There is your 8.5 minute update. Goodbye. So I had the monitor wind vane steering again, and there wasn't a lot of tiller action going on. It was steering, but it was probably steering with that paddle right there in the water. More so than the tiller, because this was down like this, so I got to move it up, and I see the fucking bolt's broken off. See that? It's on the other side, and that's the pivot for this thing, so that's jamming. So, yeah, time to look in the parts box. See ya. Okay, about 15 minutes later, problem fixed. Monitor wind vane is steering again, bolt's been replaced. Just took me hanging off the edge of the most. This is most boisterous time of day. It's the most wind we've had. Here's the broken bolt replaced. Let's see. Replaced bolt. Ooh. Yeah. Tools of the trade. Woohoo! Captain Morgan, I presume. Welcome aboard. I think I made a video from about this same spot back in June, headed the other direction. That was the sunset of that voyage. This is the first sunset of this voyage. We've been hauling ass. We've been hitting over 9 knots here. Ericson 35s love to reach. And we are broad reaching. The wind vane's doing great. Better than the autopilot. The autopilot wanders all over with these quartering seas. I I think I got to put heavier weight oil in the compass in the autopilot. I'm going to try that because it dances all around when the boat's dancing around. I guess I'll be taking in the fishing lines pretty soon. No fish today. I don't know if fishing at night works. I don't know. How could they see the lures? Maybe I'll leave them out and see what happens. Oh, I've caught a fish at night. Yeah. I caught like a 700-pound tuna at night. Luckily, I didn't get it aboard because I would have had to leave. Anyway, it's going to be dark soon, so, well, I do make videos in the dark, but they're more of audio recordings, I guess. Right now it says I'll be there at 8 in the morning. 6:45, 5:40, 5:22. So I'll be there tomorrow. Wish you all could be here, or I hope you are wherever you want to be. I see land over there, that's San Felipe. Huh. To the left of the sun I see a mountain. Might be the mountain where they have that, oh, there's the San Felipe Mountains. That would be Picho, San Pedro Martir, right to the right of the sun. There's mountains. That would be San Pedro Martir. They're 10,000 feet high. Highest mountains in Baja. Adios, amigos. Told you I make videos at night. Okay, I just turned on the compass, the brand new compass. I just turned on the light for the first time. It's dark out, pretty much. And that's the iPad, and that's the VHF radio in the cockpit, and that's the compass. I'm sitting in the very back bench of the cockpit here. I'll get closer. Try not to fall over, tripping over the wind vane lines. But yeah, it's way too bright. Like when I'm right here and sitting here, if I was sitting here steering and using the compass to steer with, or even not, you know, just using the iPad to steer with, like we do these days, it is, I cannot see up there. I'm blinded. I mean, I know that this camera sucks for nighttime, but believe me, that is way too bright. So one of these coming nights in an anchorage, when I'm anchored, I'm gonna mess with that, because it'd be nice if it had a dimmer. But I think maybe some tape in the right places. Take off this cover. I think the LED is on the outside. I think I remember seeing it. So I'll try to do something. Like I said, there's your update. Later.